Hello, my name is Leo and welcome to a new day of Vesper.5. We are now in... What do you mean we're now in? We're not anywhere. We're fast traveling. That's right, we're fast traveling in Arena. God, I forgot the name again. It's Stone something. Stone Square? I think Stone Square, that's the place we're going to. Anyway, as the arrow, I want to point to it, but I don't have a mouse. But the arrow there says, we're going to move to the right. So we're going to move to the right. Hey, there we go. Okay, so what did I do yesterday? You know what I did yesterday? I bought this game ages ago and I haven't touched it. I don't know, maybe it's because it was a PlayStation 1 game, I don't know. Found a bunch of PS1 games that were like really cool, so I bought them. One of those games is a little game called Jammer Lammy. No, it's Jammer Lammy. Whatever. It's actually the sequel to Parappa the Rapper, which is interesting, because if I remember correctly, Parappa the Rapper was on the PS2. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty sure Parappa the Rapper was on the PS2, whereas Jammer Lammy is actually on the PS1. Not that that's really a big issue. I mean, the graphics are, well, it's all paper thin style, so it doesn't really matter. And yeah, Jammer Lammy is actually a pretty fun game. It's basically the same sort of gameplay as Parappa the Rapper. You know, what would you call, the lead person sings something, and then you know, it shows the buttons on the screen, and then you push the same buttons. Oh, no, sometimes not the same buttons actually, sometimes different. The difference between Parappa the Rapper and Jammer Lammy is that in Parappa the Rapper, the lead person would sing something, and then Parappa the Rapper would, in almost all certain circumstances, rap the same lyrics. But in Jammer Lammy, she plays guitar, so she actually jams out on the guitar. So it's little guitar, like Guitar Man guitar sounds, instead of rapping. You know, the game was freaking hard at first. I finished it, but oh my god, the game is unforgiving, completely unforgiving. I was like certain that I got every note correct, and it was like, no, that's bad. I'm like, fuck you, God. It's really difficult. That being said, sometimes I completely like mess it up, and it gives it to me. It's different from like Guitar Hero sort of games, in that in Guitar Hero, if you strum a note at the wrong time, like when it's blank, you will then lose points. Not lose points, but you'll lose your what do you call it? The rock meter, right? So you know, come one step closer to failing the song. In Parappa the Rapper and Jammer Lammy, you don't. You can actually, like, I remember listening to one of my blind friends who loves this game, loves Parappa the Rapper. He plays it, and you can sort of hit the button many times, and that actually you don't lose anything for doing that. It's just sort of like jamming. It's just rapping, and it actually sounds really cool. I played the entire Parappa the Rapper in one session at a video game sort of, like, it was basically a exhibition of video gaming throughout history that was touring Australia at the time, and they had Parappa the Rapper, and I played the entire game. I also played friggin', what was the name of that game? Steel Battalion, the original Steel Battalion, with the friggin' Steel Battalion controller, which the funnest part of that entire thing was pressing the eject button. The self-destruct button. Yeah, that was the most fun I had in that entire game. But yeah, I played through the entire Parappa the Rapper, so I sort of knew the story of Parappa the Rapper is he wants to, like, impress his, like, some girl who's a sunflower or something, whatever. Jammer Lammy actually is a completely different story. It's about a deer lammy who is part of a band called Milk Can. The story. Okay, you think the story there is kind of a little bit weird? No, it gets bizarre later on. Like, it is unbelievable. The particular song is called After School Sale, and it's just the game turns into what the fuck is even going on. At the end of the game, though, it sort of comes back, and you know, you have your hero moment, essentially. But yeah, it's a fun game. I had a lot of fun playing it. The game was a lot more than what I initially thought it was. I have been looking for Parappa the Rapper because I kind of wanted to play it like a bit more than just that one session I had. I'm very happy to find out that when you finish Jammer Lammy, there's like 7 songs, I think. You finish the 7 songs, you then unlock a mode playing as Parappa the Rapper, doing the same songs, slightly different versions of those songs, in sort of a rap format. So you actually get both games in one, essentially. Well, both style of game in one. And then when you finish all those songs, you can then play co-op versions of both the original Jammer Lammy versions of the songs and the Parappa versions of the songs. Actually, it's a little bit different to that. The way the co-op works, and I believe there's verses as well for all of the songs. The way the co-op works is player 1 plays the first. So like I said, the structure of the songs is the lead character does a bit, then you do a bit. Then the lead character does a bit, then you do a bit, and rinse and repeat. In co-op mode, the lead character does a bit, then player 1 does the response to that bit. Then the lead character does another bit, and then player 2 does a response for that bit. They're very similar, and it's pretty interesting. Although they are essentially the same song as the original Lammy versions of the song. Parappa the Rapper, the co-op mode, on the other hand, is quite different. In this mode, the song is half and half of Lammy's version and Parappa the Rapper's version. So player 1 is Lammy, in the original co-op version for Lammy songs, player 1 is Lammy and player 2 is Dark Lammy, which is a version of Lammy that came from hell. You kind of got to play the game to understand the story of that. But in the Parappa the Rapper co-op versions, player 1 is Lammy, player 2 is Parappa. So in this mode, lead character sings a bit from the Lammy song, and then Lammy responds from the Lammy song. Then, lead character raps a bit from the Parappa version of the song, and then Parappa raps back from the Parappa version of the song. So it's sort of like it's a mix of both the Lammy and the Parappa sections put together, which is kind of interesting. There are also versus mode for all of the songs, and you can also versus the computer, which is goes up to level 4. I finished level 1 on the very first song, and then I couldn't do any other songs, and I was just like, fuck this. It's really unforgiving. In the co-op versions, you can actually co-op with the computer, which is what I did. You can also co-op with an actual person in control too. But I co-oped with the computer, and it was kind of useful because in the co-op and versus modes of the game, you sort of, player 1 does his bit and gets a score. Player 2 does his bit and gets a score. Then the scores are merged together and the score goes towards your combined score. Well, in the co-op version, yeah. So if player 1 gets a 0 and player 2 gets a, say, 30, then it comes together and you get 30 points, and that is counted as good. But if player 1 gets a 0, player 2 gets a -10, that comes together and gives you -10, takes 10 score away from you, and that counts towards a bad. Now, what gets really frustrating is if you get 29, and then if you get 29, and then the computer gets -30, that comes together and gives you -1, which counts as the bad, which is really fucking infuriating. But on more occasions than one, I got a 0 because I fucked up, and then the player got some points, and that counted towards a good, which is great. When it gets really annoying is when we get into the verses. So in verses, the same sort of deal, but you each have your own score. If I've got 100 points, and the player 2 has 100 points, I get 30, player 2 gets 30. Comes together, makes 0, nobody gets any points. I'm 100, player 2 is 100. I get 30, player 2 gets 29. Comes together, becomes a +1 for me, gives me an extra point, so I'm 101, takes a point away for player 2, so they're 99. What's really infuriating is if you get a good score, and then you fuck up something, and player 2 gets a really good score, then not only does it give them extra points, it takes away your points. Oh, it's infuriating. So it got really annoying, so I stopped doing that. I might go back to it though, because I played it for like 4 hours or 5 hours or something yesterday. So I would like to play a little bit more, and when I get some more free time, which is very rare, I might play a bit more of that game. But yeah, that was in Jammer Lammy. Pretty fun game. Interesting note is the Japanese version of the game has the vocals are all in English, and the cutscenes are all in English with English vocals, and then you have the option of having Japanese or English subtitles, which is cool. And all the menus are pretty much in English, save for like the saving, when it's like got a message to say saving, do not turn off the PlayStation. But if you've played PlayStation games enough, you know what that screen is when it's saving. But the button to save, that's all in English. So very accessible as an import. Another interesting note is that I think the American version of the game, they cut out a whole bunch of stuff, because one of the songs, Lammy dies and goes to hell and has to do backup for a succubus. I think she's a succubus, to sort of get out, and the succubus sings about angels being bad and wanting to sort of romance a devil. Not a devil, the devil. And all that shit was all cut out of the American version. So I'm glad that I got the version that had all that stuff in. Although I think the American version added some extra content as well. But whatever. Jammer Lammy, it's a good game if you find it. I think it's on PSN actually. It's fairly cheap too. I'd recommend picking it up if you like music games. If you like, say, Parappa the Rapper or Guitar Man, pick it up because it's actually a pretty cool game. Yeah. Alright, well, when we come back, I think we're still fast traveling, right? Yeah, we've got one more day of Vesper.5, so we'll move one more to the right, and we'll probably, I think tomorrow we'll see the 2 other plants, and we'll have something else to talk about. But for now, my name is Leo, and I will see you next time.